because of recent events that I've become aware of, like what's happening with Boeing aircraft, and of course, what I've shared with you about my own experiences having worked at the Rockwell Space Transportation Group in Downey, California, where a lot of the parts that were being manufactured for the space shuttle project were there. But I was self-reflecting, which is self-reflecting, for example, about mathematical codes, mathematical firing order, divine right timing. And I was reminiscing, for example, why I was in Arkansas, okay, up in northwest Arkansas. If you know the geographical terrain, particularly as it relates to DUMBs. And bin numbers or storage containers or tunnel networks. And in this particular case, I was a student at the University of Arkansas. And I sometimes get a real kick out of this when somebody would say, if you knew or know that their university systems, like Universal, translators, translating codes, frequency modulation spheres, why I would choose to go to a university if I already am aware of the fact that it's organized in the organization of cells, holographic organization of implosion-coded cells. Why I would even choose to waste my time and energy going to the University of Arkansas. So we all know what multitasking is, right? Because on the one hand, for example, when I had a student loan, right? And if you're not aware of this, I'll share it with you. When you sign we know what a promissory note is, right? I signed a promissory note, which means a promise to pay. Future memories. The ATP Krebs cycle, and how that relates to the birth certificate system with the serial number. Which means you know what a double dipper is, right? Go use your Social Security serial number and go see how your soul arcing spiritual essence is used as a bond being sold into slavery. That goes back to 1933, right? House Joint Resolution, I believe the number was 1492. What happened in 1492? You see how the mathematical firing order sequence, cellular coded sequences, how that relates to time and space, future memories. So what I was reminiscing about is that the importance of when I was there, why I was there, where I was at, has everything to do with an equilibrium state. I had to maintain my equilibrium state for the reason that I was there. That's called a mission. So that meant that those nuclear coded sequences, the firing order, the divine right precision of the firing order, and the timing to maintain zero meant that I had to accept the ACV, accepted for value. Signing on the X dotted line that they're going to take money right off the top spin, and that's called a deductible out of your bond, your slavery bond, the slavery bond. So they take the money right off the top spin, sucking electrons out of the ATP cycle, because they monetize your capacitor on a motherboard. And it's known as a mathematical actuarial table, just like a matrix table. Mathematical tables. And so, in other words, I've already paid for my education. Oh, but now I'm required to pay you again? Okay, so remember back in the day, Oh, we're going to forgive the loans. Oh, like in forgiveness for your crimes. And what that means when you think about burning a candle at both ends, you know what burning a candle at both ends is, right? The fire goes out. Yeah. And how that relates to being a mononuclear power plant to maintain an equilibrium state. So I was reminiscing, for example, I took algebra 3 times and flunked it. And yet, when I left all those classes, because I had to be there for a certain period of time, and the student loan is what facilitated being able to do that for the time that I was there, for the time that I was recording all the nuclear sequences, which are coded in divine right mathematical order and divine right timing as the RH factor is 0, 1 blood, 1 bowel voltage rod, nuclear rod as a monopole. Fast forward into graduate school, and I'm taking a class called Research Methods. Oh, the methodology, like in hydrologic ologies. And so that's when I shared with you in the past, future memories, when a lady who was the professor in graduate school where I took a class in research methods, which is statistical modeling, if you want to get into predictive programming, right, and the quantum probability function, a Bardo, which is implosion, that's called a known. That's called a known. And that has everything to do with what? Divine right mathematical order and divine right timing. To recode and recorrect the original Templar. Okay? How long it takes to do that. And that has everything to do with what? Burn time. The time that it takes when you're operating in a time field to successfully burn it off. Burning off artificial timeline implosion codes when you're in transmutation mode operating at 0 degrees of separation. No separation anxiety. Calm waters. An equilibrium state equal unto all the other points of contact. Oh, the opening and closing of circuits. Precisely. That's called full flow. Full flow. Let it all flow. The spiral flow. So all the circuits are opening and closing at the same magnetic moment of 0, which is perfect balance in the planetary shield, the galactic shield, the universal shield. We're breathing as one. One grand creation. Experiencing perfect balance. So the lady had told me in that class, okay, the message was essentially you flunked algebra 3 times, and yet you're in a statistical modeling class about past, present, and future possibilities, and you're already light years ahead. Translate that. The message was, there isn't any time, Professor. Time is an illusion as it relates to calculus in that particular class, which means she understood that the math already takes care of itself, which means you don't have to think about it, do you? That's correct. That's what she meant. That's the translation. So was I wasting all my time and energy taking those classes? No. I had to maintain the vertical and horizontal trim while I was there. So I accepted the grades in order to maintain my present moment while I was there. So it's had everything to do with timing and nuclear coded experiences of why I was there. phasing in and out. Now you're there, now you're not there. Now you're there, now you're not there. Right? Unknown knowns, known unknowns. So I had fun with it when I go back and I have some time to reflect on why I'm where I'm at right now. The magnetic moment, the speed at which we complete a circuit to experience divine right mathematical order, divine right timing, and zero. There's no time. 0 degrees, the EFFI. The uniformity of the first wave. The first spiral of consciousness, creation, manifestation, celestial mechanics. A mechanic. A mechanic. We used to call them mechanics. Mechanics. Right? And then mechanized units. Units of consciousness energy. Directing our gyroscope. Star Trek navigators. Gyrodome navigators. Perfect balance in the vertical and horizontal trim. Yeah. I haven't gone anywhere. I never left home. I'm still there at the center point of that magnet. There's not an S there, which is plural. No, there's only one moment. That moment is always on. That moment never changes, which is what love is. So you can't change our mind, which means you cannot change our identity. I am what love is. That's what I am. That's magnetic zero, which is zero pressure to experience being loved, which is no resistance, which is zero consciousness field, the pure consciousness field, pure unmanifested energy. What do you want to manifest? God WUR matrices. Yeah. Have a beautiful day, y'all.